There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
Hey, welcome everybody to the Dan Wickline Show. It's Thursday. We made it. I know. You're thinking, well, but tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's the weekend. Yeah, this is my last show of the week. I go to Thursday. So we made it. Yay. I hope everybody's having a good week and are getting excited about some of the pretty awesome looking trailers and featurettes that have been dropping. And that's kind of what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about three different pieces that dropped. We have the original, the first trailer for DMZ starring Rosario Dawson and Benjamin Bratt. So we're going to watch that in just a few minutes and do a reaction to that. There is the Kenobi trailer, which dropped earlier this week, that we are going to talk about and point out some of the people in there. And then we got a new featurette on Moon Knight, where they talk about it, including the great description that it's pretty much Fight Club meets Indiana Jones. And I can't think of any producer that if you're in an elevator go, hey, I got a movie I want to pitch to you. It's Fight Club meets Indiana Jones, that they don't stop and hit the stop button on the elevator, go ahead, tell me more. It's one of those pitches. So yeah, so we're going to talk about all those things. And then next week, we'll be talking about the second season of Pennyworth, and we'll find about some other stuff to talk about. But I got to tell you, right now I'm kind of addicted on the old BBC show. I guess it wasn't BBC, it was ITN. Poirot. After having seen Death on the Nile, and going back and rewatching the making of or the director's commentary on Murder on the Orient Express, I thought it would be interesting to see the David Suchet version of Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile. And he plays a very different Poirot than Kenneth Branagh, but I've really been enjoying it, and I find myself watching. I mean, the guy was Poirot for 13 seasons and just does a great job. Ruby says, where did you get your hat? I actually got this off Amazon. It is a Kangol British-made hat. So you can find it on Amazon. I'm getting some more because I want some different colors. I do like these flat caps. I have the blue one I bought not too long ago here. But see, when it's back here, it looks much darker and don't really get a difference. So I've got a brown or a white one I'm looking at too. But yeah, so I've been watching Poirot, and it got me thinking about detective series, famous literary detectives that get turned into TV series. And when they like really focus on adapting the books that they were written in, like they do with the Poirot series, like they did with the Jeremy Brett version of Sherlock Holmes for, the name just slipped my, Granada Television. And then, of course, for A&E, there is the Maury Chaykin, Timothy Hutton version of Nero Wolfe, with Maury Chaykin playing Nero Wolfe and Timothy Hutton playing Archie Goodwin. All of those are fantastic, and I find myself being able to get lost in them. But most of them are available on YouTube for free. So if you guys are looking for something to kind of just, enjoy a period piece, good old fashioned mysteries, I mean, Rex Stout, Arthur Conan Doyle, Agatha Christie. Those are some of the best. And those versions of them are very faithful adaptations. So, and there's a similar feeling to a lot of them too. The Nero Wolfe series I really loved because they've treated it like a ensemble cast where, this week we're doing this thing, and Archie and Nero and the cook and the detective and Stubby. I mean, all those guys stay the same, but they rotate everybody else. So one episode, one particular actor might play, a diamond thief, and the next episode he's a bank teller, and the episode after that he's a mobster, and then the next time he's a scientist working for the army, and they just kind of rotate. So every week you get these character actors roll into another part. So it really is fun to watch. So, but yeah, I get hooked on those kind of shows and really enjoy them. But yeah, Poirot. I hadn't watched much of the David Suchet Poirot, but I've probably watched now, I want to say a dozen or more episodes, starting with the bigger ones. Like I said, Death in the Nile, Murder in the Orient Express, Evil Under the Sun, the mysterious affair at Styles, the murder of Roger Ackroyd. The one I can't bring myself to watch, though, is Curtain. If you know anything about Curtain, Agatha Christie wrote the final case for Poirot before she passed away, and she put it away and told her lawyer, "You can't release this until I'm after I'm gone." And it sat in a bank vault for 30 years and then was published in 1975. And it's the final case of Hercule Poirot. And the whole thing is, it's his final case. So you're watching an aged, withered Hercule who his body is failing him, but his mind is still there. And I don't know if I can sit and watch that. That's just pretty intense. Maybe once I've finished all the other ones, I'll watch it just for closure or completeness. But that's going to be a while before I watch that one. I got 20 some odd. I think he played the character for over 28 years. He'd take a break, do a stage production for a while, come back and do another season, which is the great thing about British television. Imagine if they did that here. We did three seasons of Arrow, and then we took a season off, and then we came back and did 2 more seasons and came back and then took a time off. Then we did like 2 movies and came back. And I mean, American television just doesn't work that way. Maybe it should, but because, speaking of Arrow, I still would love to see that show come back. That was my favorite of the CW series. Plus, does Stephen Amell really want to play a wrestler? I mean, come on. So, yeah, that's just what I've been focused on lately. And, it's funny. I am a comic book writer who loves murder mysteries. And that's what I want to do. If Marvel or DC or any other company called me up and said, you can have any character you want, but it's got to be a murder mystery, I would be giddy. I would yeah, sure. Let me put a pitch together. I'll get right back to you. Click. And then I would dance through the house. Maybe a little samba, bit of a jig, mixing it together. Definitely some pop and lock, a little bit of robot stuff like that. But that's what I would do. So yeah, I love mysteries. I love writing mysteries. I love reading mysteries. I can't wait for Knives Out 2. I can't wait to get Death on the Nile on Blu-ray so I can watch the behind-the-scenes stuff and the director's commentary. That's my thing. So, all right, we're going to move on. Let's take a look at one of the 3 things that dropped this week. Kyle said that he had DMZ queued up already. So we'll watch DMZ. And to do this, what we have to do is put it on the screen, and I've got to be on the screen. And I occasionally have to say something to keep it from being a copyright thing, right?
We have to do color commentary.
Right. So
here we go.
Are you joining me in this?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Here we go.
So this is our reaction. Eugenics, yeah. Benjamin Bratt is definitely doing eugenics or something, man.
Yeah, no, he definitely. Well, not being a professional athlete, he could take the steroids if he wants.
Oh yeah, true.
But it's dude got ripped for this movie.
Yeah. Hun Lee was in Bosch as Reggie Wu. He was a regular on there. He was in two episodes of Iron Fist as Lee Kung. And he was Shredder in Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He was also in the series Warrior as Wang Chao.
I don't remember.
He's done a lot of stuff. He's even been in Law and Order like everybody else has. Oh, and White Collar. I love White Collar. That's a great show.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, it's one of those things. I'm trying to remember. I'm guessing it was probably TMNT that I saw him in. But
now, DMZ, of course, is Brian Wood's comic book with Ricardo Berchielli.
Something to that effect.
It's set in the near future where a second civil war has happened, and the island of Manhattan is a demilitarized zone between the United States of America and the Free States of America. And when this series came out in 2005, that probably seemed like a really bizarre, no way that's ever going to happen type of thing. And now it doesn't seem that bizarre, does it?
Well, I remember reading it because I didn't read it when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I'm that guy who was hip to these things well before most people because of the kind of comics I've been reading my whole life.
Uh-huh.
But I read it when the big, thick omnibus size trades.
Okay.
And the thing I remember when I was reading it wasn't the far-fetched kind of aspects of it that some people saw. Is that it was, this looks like areas I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've ever done any, I'll be honest, Dan, it's hard for guys our size to do it, but to go urban exploring,
uh-huh.
Where you're breaking into old malls and seeing how nature's taking it back.
Yeah.
It didn't feel that far out of the norm or out of like possibility, especially like experiences I had in New York and New Jersey and Chicago and places like that. So I remember thinking, gee whiz, if this was going to happen, this is where it would happen.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way seeing I Am Legend. You mentioned it while we were watching it. Like, I Am Legend didn't feel so, it felt out there, but it didn't feel so impossible.
Which is funny because you think about it, I Am Legend, of course, is based off the Richard Matheson book that was written like, what, in the 50s, the 40s?
Yeah.
Because Vincent Price did the original adaptation of it as The Last Man on Earth, and then Charlton Heston as Omega Man, which still has one of the coolest opening of any movie ever. Him just wandering around San Francisco, stealing cars because they still have gas in them until they run out, then he steals another one.
Right. Yeah, there's a reason I'm excited for this movie, and it's got very little to do with the source material for the first time ever. It has everything to do with, I've always felt like Brian Wood's writing has lent itself to the screen, right?
Yeah.
I've always felt like this is somebody who is clearly writing a comic to be made into a movie, even when nobody was doing that.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see how realistic it can be without being at all realistic, because it isn't.
I could be wrong, but to me, a Brian Wood story is basically the setup of a unique situation that would push people to their extreme and then follow certain people in that situation.
Right.
You know, in a way, it's the same thing as The Walking Dead, you know, or 30 Days a Night, when, you know, or even The Freeze. I mean, just when you take of an absurd situation, but you focused on the human characters trying to deal with it, then you get this type of story. I do like the fact that they're not trying to do it. They're not trying to extend it into a long series. It's a 4 episodes thing.
Right. Yeah, no, it's 4 episodes, which is good. And it leaves more space, right?
Yeah.
For them to do more.
Yeah, it's a little better than them trying to jam it into a 2-hour movie. But not so much that they're padding or they're borrowing from other parts of the... I mean, the comic series was like 72 issues. So there's lots of material to pull from. But, you know, he wrote it in the best I could tell, he wrote it in kind of bunches, you know?
Yeah.
In arcs. So just focus on one arc at a time. And yeah, I think that's really cool.
I also have to say that this feels like a great vehicle for Rosario Dawson.
It does. It absolutely does.
go
ahead.
I was trying to think back to the first thing I knew her from.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's Side Streets or if it was really Josie and the Pussycats. But the first thing I remember is Men in Black 2, right? But she has had this kind of quirky career where she's played a lot of interesting roles. You know, she was in Clerks 2, which she was in Rent. She played Mimi in Rent. She was Gail in Sin City. She was Abernathy in Grindhouse. There's like a ton of stuff, but I kept making a joke when Cory Booker was running for president because they were together for a long time.
Are they still together?
No, they just recently broke up.
Okay.
And broke up. You know as well as I do, you get to a certain age, you've been with somebody for a certain length of time, you break up, but you never really break up.
Yeah.
But I kept making the joke that if Cory Booker were to get elected president, we'd have our first lady who's an expert in ass to mouth, because of Clerks 2.
Yep.
You know,
Rosario is the cousin of comic book artist Gustavo Vasquez.
Absolutely. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, and Gus and I worked together on Sinbad. He was the original artist for Sinbad. He did the 0 issue. He did the character designs. We ended up going to Paulo Pantaleon after issue 0 because Gus got picked up by DC. Who, by the way, I just found out recently, Paulo was living in Ukraine when everything started over there and got out. Matt Hawkins gave us an update about him. He was at the convention at the United Arab Emirates last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an update on Paulo. He's doing okay. He's out of Ukraine.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
but Gus and I are still good friends. We talk occasionally, and he's living in New York now, but he used to be out here in LA. And I kept trying to introduce me to your cousin. You know, he's like, if I ever get a chance, I will. I'm like, okay.
Right. It's one of those things though, like 1 degree of separation.
Mm-hmm.
It's super cool. But no, she also, by the way, this isn't the first Rosario Dawson comic book thing.
Yeah.
She was Wonder Woman in the Justice League voice of Atlantis.
She was Night Nurse, or
yeah, she's a night nurse in a bunch of the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, the Netflix stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And oh, by the way, with the lightsabers and the
Hey, Sean. Yeah, Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah,
no. She has got geek cred upon geek cred upon geek cred.
Scrolling through the IMDb, the show DMZ miniseries completed, Clerks 3 completed, Haunted Mansion filming, Speed of Light pre-production, Ahsoka TV miniseries pre-production.
Huh?
Did I miss something?
Oh no, they've been an Ahsoka series going for a while now. Dave Filoni is going to be the producer and main writer on that one.
Completely missed it.
Oh, they've already got a Sabrine Wren cast. It's going to pick up from the Rebels series, basically. We believe in that's the where she asks about Grand Admiral Thrawn in the Mandalorian series. That's where it's going to follow up.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they announced Ahsoka the same time. Remember when they did that Investors Day meeting and they announced a whole bunch of series like Kenobi and Andor and the Rangers of the New Republic, which is dead? Ahsoka was one of the ones they announced.
I didn't remember they had announced Kenobi until the trailer dropped.
By the way, do you have the trailer ready?
Kenobi is downloading.
Okay.
But I have another trailer.
All right.
Should we go to the next trailer?
Go to the next trailer.
There's chaos in you. The fun of Moon Knight is getting introduced to a new superhero in a new world.
It's a real, legitimate character
It's
study.
not really a trailer.
I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
A lot of people are getting
Moon Knight is a spectacular character. He's got an incredibly unique visual look.
Our job was to kind of put a lens on the things that had the most dramatic juice and ultimately take the mental health aspect incredibly seriously. I am
Okay, I made a joke.
The way we're tackling the story, we learn about Stephen and then learn about Mark.
What's wrong with you, Mark?
See, I like this.
Why did you call me Mark?
And they're the same person.
The tone is like Fight Club meets Indiana Jones. It's a bit dark at times. To tie it into something so vast and supernatural, it's amazing. Thank you.
Every aspect of this show has a duality, and we've shifted the paradigm.
For me, what's really exciting is that it's totally unpredictable.
There's that moment where we see them floating up in the sky, and it's like they're at the Laserium in Griffith Park. It's a big light show, and it's like, so I have a feeling that may not be in reality. That might be Khonshu showing him something. I love how the costume works.
I should have closed my eyes.
Okay.
And we've talked about, you and I have talked about this more than once. I purposefully try to go into these things as blind as possible.
Right.
Having seen that, having heard the words those people said, I'm already starting to formulate expectations.
Right. Like you do.
Now I've got like 90 questions that if the movie doesn't answer, I'm going to be disappointed. I will say this, and I gotta bring it up here. Give me just a second. Do Brian Silverbacks, who is a amazing cover artist.
Yes.
Did a piece that he has available for pre-order right now. Share screen.
Nice.
That I triggered on while watching that, which,
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, that is the print. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the original. The original, I think, was a commission.
Yeah. I'm kind of mixed on them having Mr. Knight in there. Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, that's traditional pen and ink.
Yeah. Yeah, his inking on that is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mixed on the Mr. Knight thing. And it's not so much because I don't like the character or anything, but I'm a bit of a traditionalist. And when you have a character like Mr. Knight or a persona like Mr. Knight that doesn't show up until 2005, 2006, whenever he made his debut, but we're talking about a character that debuted in 1970 something, 74, I believe, or 77. Shouldn't we get a little bit more time with the original version before we get to the changed version? That's my feelings on it. It's like as soon as they introduced the Falcon in Captain America, there were a lot of people going, "Oh, Sam's going to become Captain America. That's going to happen. That's going to happen." No, Bucky's going to be Captain America. Can we keep Steve as Captain America? Because he was Captain America for a long ass time.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. That's certainly a part of it for sure. I also like Mark Spector. Moon Knight is kind of my favorite Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Like that series
with all the Egyptian iconography.
So the fact that they're leaning into that helps.
Yeah.
The fact that they're going into this Lemire series and some of these other ones, by that point, Moon Knight was like, everybody's into Moon Knight. Are you into Moon Knight? And I'm like, no, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Like by that point, the hipster in me had kicked in. So I have less knowledge of that, which is also good because it means I won't have the kind of problems I have with Spider-Man, right?
Okay.
I can't unknow what I already know.
Yeah.
Because I have, and it's why Shang-Chi was so good for me, is I didn't know a ton. So, and luckily for me, Moon Knight comes out relatively quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't have a ton of time to go back and read 50 years worth of comics.
Right. I do have the Marvel Essentials. They put 3 out so far.
Put it in the mail, Dan.
I'm reading them now.
Well, I'll have it read in a week.
There's 3 of them. They're all like this. It's everything Sienkiewicz and Munch did on the book. Yeah, it is. But my first introduction to Moon Knight, I'm pretty sure was I picked up the reprints they did. Marvel took the pages from the Hulk magazine and reprinted them in a Baxter format paper set. And that's where I got introduced to Moon Knight, with Sienkiewicz art and Doug Munch writing, and just phenomenal. Just love that series.
I have like a 1 in 500 Bill Sienkiewicz Moon Knight variant where it looks like Neil Adams doing Moon Knight.
Well, that's because Bill Sienkiewicz looked like Neil Adams.
No, it's because Bill Sienkiewicz is that good. But, no. Like, it's one of my favorite pieces that I have. And then I have it's hanging somewhere, I think. I have another piece where it's Moon Knight and Legion. Yeah.
There's a story that somehow I think somebody showed Neil Adams Sienkiewicz's artwork. Like, hey, this guy draws just like you. And somebody commented about that. And then somebody else over at Marvel was calling him up to do some work, and he had to turn it down. He goes, but you should check out this kid Sienkiewicz. And that's how Bill got hooked up at Marvel. Now, I may be a little vague on that story, but I'm pretty sure that's the gist of it. So, did you run away?
I'm looking for that piece of art.
Ah. All right. So I'm really fascinated because in that first trailer we got, they were really focused on Stephen Grant. And I think what they're doing is where normally we meet Mark Spector and the Stephen Grant and the Jake Lockley and Moon Knight are not even personas. They're just other identities that he borrows to do certain things. And then eventually, as he's written over time, they become personas. Well, here I think they're kind of shortcutting that by introducing us to. Oh, very nice.
It is a Seth the Moose.
Ah. I know his name is Damoose, but whenever I hear his name, I think of the Moose, and I picture like Bullwinkle drawing.
In his phone, he's just the Moose. In my phone.
Yes.
I may have traded him a stuffed moose for that piece of art.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. The thing about the featurette, I like it better than a trailer.
Yeah.
I've decided. But it comes with a level of trepidation for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I have more information than I'd like to have.
Yeah.
But I like the idea because, and this is where I think it's a real advantage to do these featurettes for these companies. If you have no background, you have no sort of knowledge of this stuff.
Yeah.
That was a quick and easy way to go. All right. I can understand what Moon Knight is. I can understand what they're going for. I can come in with a certain base knowledge, right?
Uh-huh.
And you and I, go to a lot of work on this show. You especially do a lot of work on this show to give people that kind of knowledge. And I think this helps, right?
Yeah. I think the featurettes are better because they tend to also give a little more information than a trailer does.
Yes.
A trailer is interpretation. With the featurettes, they're interpreting it. But one of the things that I take out of this is something I was worried about is in the trailers, we never see him fighting as Oscar Isaac. We see him fighting in costume or acting timid as Stephen Grant. We never see Mark. And here we get to see this image of him leaping in street clothes like he's leaping into a fight. He has a very determined look on his face. And I went, that's Mark Spector. That right there is Mark Spector. And that made me feel better because I was a little worried they might do the thing where we never really get to see him as Mark Spector.
Right.
It's always, we get glimpses of him and then we get him waking up. So we don't see, Mark is held out for a while. And I don't really want that version. I don't mind starting with Stephen Grant, but I want to get to where he's all the different personas quickly. I don't want to have it.
Right. I like the fact that they use the line, "Why did you call me Mark?"
Yeah.
That is a clear indicator for any person, any human being that's ever had another human interaction, that this is a different personality or even a different person than the person you thought you were dealing with. Mm-hmm. And so it makes that one of the problems I have with the idea of Moon Knight as a movie, and I have it with the comics too in some respect, is that it can get hard to tell who you're following.
Yeah. Which is why he does the different accents.
Right. That's exactly it. That's 100% it.
Yeah.
You can't tell that in the comics all the time.
Right.
You can't tell that in, and I was worried that it's just going to be Oscar Isaac talking. And you're going to have to figure out, is it Stephen Grant? Is it Mark Spector? Is it somebody else?
Yeah. So they gave him that hideous accent.
Well, so they gave him affectations.
Yeah.
For each, and that's what made another show that in a way is similar in that regard was Orphan Black.
Yes.
In that it would have been very hard to follow Orphan Black if, what was her name? Tatiana Maslany?
Yes.
Was just, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can remember Tatiana Maslany. Anyhow.
Well, She-Hulk.
I didn't know that. Anyhow.
What do you do for a living?
I make pretty pictures.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a lot of time to remember things. But no, also She-Hulk will always be Angie Harmon to me. Anyhow, they gave each character affectations. They gave each character a different accent, a different hairstyle, a different look.
Yeah.
Doing that with Mark Spector, doing that with Stephen Grant, doing that with Moon Knight will help the movie flow better and will help people, and I keep saying this, will help the normies understand.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say one thing. We've got this coming up. We've got Kenobi coming up. And part of the fun of these series is speculating. Just thinking, oh my God, he's going to... Arthur Harrow. Well, Arthur Harrow is a minor character. He's got to be more. He's got to be the Sun King. He's got to be patient, whatever number, and maybe he is. But everything I've seen so far, both with Marvel series and with Star Wars series on Disney Plus, is they don't get as wild as our speculation does. And
Correct.
And we tend to people tend to turn their speculation into expectation.
No, it's true.
Because,
I mean,
I want to be right. I want to have guessed it. But so let's try to keep it somewhat in check. Let's have fun. We can speculate, but let's not put those speculations as expectations on the show. So when we don't get what we think we should get, we get disappointed.
Well, I mean, if you're going to preach at me, Dan, my problem is that I don't speculate.
Mm-hmm.
It's
you follow the comics,
right? There's a astronomer, an English astronomer named Brian Cox.
I know who he is,
and he is one of those that is he. I love his line because he always kind of fights with Neil deGrasse Tyson,
right?
Because Neil Tyson is always saying you need to fix the stars in Titanic because that's not where the stars would have been.
Right.
And Brian Cox is like, does it really matter?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Neil Tyson and you're Brian Cox.
Neil deGrasse Tyson gets on the Daily Show because their globe was spinning the wrong way in the opening credits.
Correct.
Yes.
It bothered me for years.
Yeah. I'm definitely, hey, it looks good. But
and I'm like, why is that wrong? It's not that hard to do it right.
All right. Why don't we take a quick break?
Okay.
Because we didn't get a chance to do one yet. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about the Kenobi trailer if it's ready to go.
It is ready, I think.
All right. Quick break. Then we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
This is The Experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey there. Hi there. Oh there. You're as welcome as can be.
Hi, I'm Nancy McCann. Welcome to Friday Night Live on The Experience.
Welcome, everybody. It's Fat Jack's Comic Crib. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out.
There I am. Welcome back to Kicking It with Henry, folks. I am your host, Henry Copa. It's great to be here with you guys.
So we are going to talk about books that are in stores this week.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mishmash.
Hello, and welcome to the Black Comics Universe, presented by Peep Game Comics.
And you gotta love it that the first people in the minute to skim it are creators.
Up, everybody! Welcome to another Wednesday Warriors. My name is Joey Galvez, and this is my pal Ambrosia.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Space Cadet Hey,
What's up?
welcome everyone for another episode of I Must Ask You a Question.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Nerd News Now.
Hey, this is Rex. Welcome to Comic Collectors.
Hey, hello, all you happy people. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the crazy show that we do on Thursdays called What's in the Box? What's in the Box?
Comic culture and sales.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Dan Wickline Show. That commercial you just saw shows the great lineups we've got here on the experience, including that final one there, What's in the Box, which is coming up right after this. Also tonight, we have Space Cadets, which comes up after What's in the Box, and then Kicking It with Omri, our late night show. But there's something in between now. I don't remember what it is. But
Nerd Killer Warfare.
See, I don't say that name.
Yeah.
Nope,
Nerd Killer Warfare.
Okay.
Or our alternative title, the show where Dan will win so hands down it's scary. And Henri's taking the night off tonight after having gone to visit his 90-year-old grandmother.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, there's like all this, it's so cute, it's an old person. But Henri's taking the night off. And I'm grateful to him for doing so because the part of me that needs to sleep really appreciates it.
All right. Before we launch the trailer, though, can we turn it down a little bit so you and I can actually hear each other?
I don't have that capability.
Because usually they have a slider on YouTube videos.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? There's a new slider in the StreamYard.
Okay.
Because I'm running it through StreamYard, not through YouTube.
Okay. So let's watch the trailer. We'll comment on it when some of the people.
We may have to try this a couple times depending on the volume.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Folks. Now that's the same animal he was riding at the end of Revenge of the Sith. He called it an Opie, something like that.
Looks like a camel.
Yes, but it's a Star Wars camel, so it's called an Inopi. Here he's playing PP Tom. It's young Luke.
Stay hidden.
Shouldn't he just say hello there?
The key.
I think that ship's supposed to be reminiscent of Vader's castle on Mustafar. That's the Grand Inquisitor, by the way, played by
Jedi
Rupert
cannot
Friend.
help what they are. Their compassion leaves a trail.
Uncle Owen.
The Jedi code is like
That's
an
Inquisitor
itch.
Rena, and that is Tia,
He cannot
played by
help it.
Indira Varma.
Where is he?
That's the
I want
fifth
one of those
brother.
hats.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd wear it on the show if we get one.
It kind of looks like a mushroom.
Yeah. Like if Star Wars met Mario.
Yes.
So John Williams is coming back and doing the music for this series, even though he retired. And you notice they played both Battle of Heroes, I think it's the name of it, and Duel of Fates. They're pulling all the heartstrings. Young Luke.
Although the amount that young Luke looked like young Anakin.
A little scary.
Yeah.
I do love the
Also,
fact
I've always thought Uncle Owen was probably a little bit of a scumbag.
Yeah.
I like that there might be Uncle Owen's a little bit of a scumbag.
See, I'm going to disagree with you for one simple reason. Ben Kenobi had very little time with Luke. Yoda didn't really have much time with Luke.
Right.
But he didn't get seduced by the dark side. He still became a Jedi, which means that how he was raised mattered. And that was raised by Owen.
Aunt Beru was a saint.
Yeah, but I don't think Uncle Owen's all that bad.
No, and like a scumbag in the sense of like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do when you own a moisture farm. You know.
What I do find interesting about this trailer is it doesn't give away the store. There's a couple, we never see Darth Vader.
It's true.
But we know Hayden Christensen is coming back.
Hopefully not as Darth Vader.
No, he's supposed to come back as Darth Vader.
Okay, hopefully not as Hayden Christensen then.
Also, Kumail Nanjiani's in this.
Kumail.
Does not pop up anywhere in the trailer that we could tell, unless he was the fifth brother with the hat on. And I don't think he was. My only disappointment is the Grand Inquisitor was very thick. And in the Rebels, he's this very thin head. And he's voiced by Jason Isaacs. And here we get Rupert Friend, who all power to Rupert Friend. He's a good actor. But
they do a really good job of not putting his character name on IMDb.
Who? Camille?
Camille. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you notice, most of those people don't have their character name. We know Joel Edgerton and Bonnie Pless because they played those characters in Revenge of the Sith. They played Owen and Beru. You know, we know that Indira Varma is Tia. We know that Steve Cannon plays another moisture farmer. You know, we know that Rupert Friend's the Grand Inquisitor, but nobody else, you know. We don't really get anybody's name. Like Inquisitor Rima, I believe is that some, I think it's Simone Kessel is playing. I don't know. I don't remember for sure. But
Grand Inquisitor, wait, who did you ask about?
I'm trying to remember who's playing Inquisitor Rena, the African American actress.
Not listed.
Yeah.
Not listed as Inquisitor Rena, I will say.
Right.
Perhaps under another name.
Yeah, they do like investing with us.
Right. There's one NYCHE. That's Maurice Alvarez.
Yeah, I don't think that's her.
Tia is Indira Verma.
Right. We see just a glimpse of her as she comes off wearing a standard Imperial uniform, carrying a gun very similar to Han Solo's.
Yeah, I don't see. So there are no. So you've Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, Grand Inquisitor, Owen, Beru, Nietzsche, Prisoner played by Paul O'Kelly,
right?
Moisture Farmer Stephen Cannon, and Tia played by Indira Verma.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only characters listed.
Yeah, but when Book of Boba Fett came out, there was 3 people listed.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. There's a bunch of people listed with no character names next to them.
Yeah, we know more about this than we knew about Book of Boba Fett going into it. But I do like the fact that they're looking at this time, that we're looking at. That's my mute, by the way.
I thought you fell. Like I went, wait, what is happening? Because I had clicked over because the next Miss Jen had popped in for her stream, so I clicked over to make sure that was who was there, and that I had sent people the right links. And while I'm gone, I hear this sound, and I'm like, oh no, Dan just fell. He got so worked up about Kenobi that he fell out of his chair.
I love the fact that we're looking at the time between Order 66 and A New Hope and the Death Star, you know, and Battle of Yavin, or the beginning of the Battle of Yavin. I think that's an interesting time that we haven't really done a lot with. I mean, we know that's around the time of Solo. It's around the time of the Bad Batch. But, you know, and it's not quite the time of the Rebels. From what I understand, this is supposed to take place about 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, but about 9 years before A New Hope. So it's that sweet spot in between, you know?
Yeah, no, you know who I'm shocked isn't in this? On
Mace
some
Windu?
level. Well, yeah. But also that because of what you saw in Solo, Ray Park.
Maul?
Yeah.
They played Duel of the Fates. I wouldn't be surprised if Maul doesn't show up.
Right. But I'm like, that's one of those that you put that in there in that cast list just so people like me are going,
I think there's a possibility Maul's going to show up. I think there's a really good possibility that Qui-Gon's going to show up as a Force ghost.
Are they played by Ray Park and by?
I think they were. Liam Neeson.
Yes, thank you. I was just gonna say, Mr. Taken guy.
They wouldn't bring the character in if they couldn't get the original actor. I have never seen Star Wars doesn't normally recast.
Well, I mean, you could do. No, you couldn't. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
Yeah, but in the end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda does talk about being able to communicate with a Force ghost, and how Obi-Wan could talk to Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon's the one that taught Yoda how to become a Force ghost.
A long, long time ago, in a galaxy far away, Naboo was under an attack. So, no, it's true. If nothing else, this series is going to make me do the thing I told myself I'd never do.
Rewatch the prequels?
Yeah.
I watched them not that long ago, and I got to tell you, rewatching them, they're better than I remember.
Misa thinks I'm going to have to be drunk, I betcha.
But part of it is just how bad the last sequels were. The last three were.
Oh, see, I like the last three. Don't give me that.
Oh, my God.
I like the last three. Well, here's why I like the last three. Are you ready?
Okay.
0% Jar Jar Binks.
I will give you the two reasons I didn't like them.
No Jar Jar Binks?
No. I would have been fine with Jar Jar. I didn't hate Jar Jar. Number one, emo bad guy Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
Could never take him seriously. He was a whiny emo kid. And then they took his shirt off at one point, and it just looked ridiculous.
Mom jeans.
Yeah. The second thing is that they took away our happy ending. Han, Leia,
the extra for that, Dan.
They got a happy ending. Okay? They were Han and Leia were married. Luke was going to be a Jedi. They didn't need those characters in the last three movies. They could have done them without them. They could have let them have already passed. They could have had a happy ending and moved on. But instead, Disney went, no, we got to have Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher all show up in the movie, and Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker and Peter Mayhew. And, we need all those people to come back, and they didn't. They had wrapped it up well. They didn't need to ruin those endings, and that's why.
I'm not saying they aren't movies 4, 5, and 6 in the goodness list.
Mm-hmm.
But they're definitely better than the first three.
I don't think so.
They're definitely better than Metachlorians.
Metachlorians is horrible. But everything Kylo Ren was horrible. The whole conversing over the distance was horrible.
So you cross those two things out. Those cancel each other out by the law of transverse properties of math. You get left with Jar Jar Binks or not Jar Jar Binks.
I would take Jar Jar Binks over just a ton of this. The whole casino scene
No.
Yeah, I no.
It'd be like if a porg talked the whole movie and just didn't shut up. Like, never stopped talking.
My mother had never seen all the Star Wars movies. She wanted to watch them. So we sat down and we watched the first three: A New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi. Then we watched Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith. Then we watched Rogue One. We watched Solo. We watched season 1 and season 2 of Mandalorian. And then we lied to her and told her that's where it ended.
You're kind of a bastard. We'll have to have this conversation another day because we're running out of time.
We are. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Kyle, for joining me. I hope you all have a great weekend. Stick around for What's in the Box, Space Cadets, and that weird game show, Nuclear Warfare.
Nerd Killer.
No, I was talking about the CNN at that time.
By the way, we spell it wrong, so you have to say it like you're George W. Bush. Nerd Killer?
No, I don't have to say it.
Yeah, you do.
No.
All right.
Good night, everybody.